So I think I found a pretty nice place to do this Q&A answer session. So like 5 days ago, I hit 500 subscribers and I put a video out asking you to send me questions for a Q&A, and now I'm at 542 subscribers, so that's really cool. And thanks to the 42 that joined since that video. But yeah, I have all the questions here. I haven't actually read them yet. I skimmed them, but I haven't really read them, and so I'm going to answer them now. But look at how nice this place looks. I drove through the woods a bit to find it, and it's like really quiet here. But yeah, it's pretty beautiful other than all the shotgun shells and TVs. But other than that, let's get into the questions now. How many animals do you have? I have my ball python Sunny, corn snake Goby, leopard gecko Goldie, 8 toads, so that's 12. Wait, I can't do math. 8, 9, 10, 11. And then Olive, the blue tongues, that's 12. And then my family has 3 cats, a guinea pig, and a parakeet. What got you into reptiles? I'm not exactly sure. I've kind of always, there's a lot of bugs out here. I've kind of always really enjoyed nature and stuff. And when I was like 5, I got into birds for some reason. I don't know why birds, but then that was like my first animal thing, nature thing that I liked. And then since then I started looking into a bunch of other animals. And then like 7 years ago I started catching them, and I started learning about them. And I was terrible at catching them and stuff. You can see in some of my really old videos. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I guess I've just always liked nature, and then I found reptiles and they were really cool. What's your favorite animal that you have? I knew I was going to be asked this, and I actually thought about it pretty hard before answering it just now, and I really can't pick one. Like, all of my animals have such unique things. Like Sunny's my first ever reptile I got. Goldie's like the cutest, but Olive has like the most personality. So I seriously can't pick one. I really thought about it, but I don't have one. How much time do you spend a week on your reptiles? I probably spend like 1 to 2 hours a day, so that's like about 10 to 15 hours a week, but that's like the cleaning and feeding and stuff, and then I try and take them all out. Other than the toads, I try and take all the reptiles out like at least twice a week, whether that's holding them or letting them run around my room or something. What made you want to start YouTube? So I had a website. It's called, the original website was ncnaturnews.wordpress.com, and it still exists, and that was my first ever site. And then I wanted to be able to put videos on that. I think I was putting photos and stuff, so then I made this channel. This isn't my first channel. I made like 10 other channels, but luckily all the videos are removed because they're so bad. So I started it because I had that WordPress site, and I wanted to be able to add videos, but the easiest way to upload videos is through YouTube, and now I kind of use YouTube more, which I have the new site now also, which I use. It's just ncnaturnews.com. If you could be any animal, what would it be and why? I might be a cat, like a house cat, because they can just do whatever they want whenever they want, and they don't care what anyone does. I'd also kind of like to be a toad, because I can just sit there and eat all day, which is kind of nice. Have you ever had a really crazy experience with an animal in the wild that you encountered? I haven't really had any recently or with reptiles, but when I was like 10 or 11, me and my sister were out in the woods in our backyard, and I wonder if she still remembers this, I'm not sure. But we were out like doing something, probably making a video with one of my super old cameras, and we were out in the woods, and then all of a sudden we look, and there's like 24 massive deer, like a bunch of males and females, and they had these huge antlers, and they were running straight towards us, and we just like held on to each other, and it was like we were just frozen. And then as they ran, they were like got like 20 feet away from us, and then they all turned and went through the woods. So too bad the cameras weren't rolling then. I don't know if I had a camera then, but that was pretty crazy for me. I plan on putting plants on your corn snake's tanks. So I have one corn snake, and his setup is really boring. I do admit doing plants in there would be kind of hard because he has forest floor substrate. I'd consider it. He doesn't really need any, but I mostly put plants in the tanks for my more tropical animals. They're not necessarily tropical, like the toads aren't tropical, but more like that kind of setup. But I'll see. If you could go herping anywhere in the world, where would you go? Probably, I wouldn't want to do this like by myself. I'd need people with experience, but probably somewhere like in Australia, because they have some pretty crazy snakes there and stuff, and all those crocodiles. I have no idea how to work with any of those, but that'd be really cool to see. Or go to like the Amazon or something. That would be really cool because I really like jungles and forests, and I'm sure there's tons of cool animals there, whether it's reptiles or not. Also, there were two people that asked where I would go herping anywhere in the world, and one of them also asked what's all your photography/videography gear, and I can show you it, but I can't right now, so I'll save that for the end when I'm back home. If you were to make a new vivarium, will it be a dry setup or a tropical/humid setup, and what would you want to put in it? I'm considering getting some fire skinks because it turns out I really like skinks since I got Olive, and they have a pretty tropical setup, which are my favorite types of setups because they look really neat. Well, the problem is I really like the look of dry setups, but I've never made one, and I feel like it won't turn out very well if I try it. So I'll probably do one eventually, but do a dry setup eventually, but probably like a tropical setup for some sort of fire skink, or I don't know, maybe some sort of other frog or toad. But I prefer reptiles over amphibians usually, so some sort of tropical reptile. And then someone replied, that was Japan Herping Channel that said that. Someone replied to him asking, have you planed any more skits like the Leo Escape one? And I'm guessing he's asking that to you, Japan Herping Channel, so I guess you should answer that. What's your dream reptile? Someday I'm gonna get a savanna monitor. They're huge, and if you don't know what you're doing, they can be dangerous, but they seem like really cool, and I'm gonna get those someday. I don't know how old I'll be, but savanna monitor would be pretty cool. Do you prefer dry or tropical setups? Like I said before, I prefer tropical setups. I'm not really sure why. I like seeing all the different plants and stuff, and I like being able to add the misters and drippers or droppers and stuff. And I also like seeing people's tropical setups. What was your first ever herping find? So, like I sort of said this before, I actually didn't say this. I started herping like 7 years ago or so, when I didn't even know what the term herp meant, but I just was going out to catch toads and lizards. So it was probably something like an American toad or green anole, just something simple, which I still find now, and I still think are just as cool. Would you ever breed reptiles, and what kind of reptiles would you like to breed? I really want to breed reptiles sometimes, but it's expensive to start doing, and it takes a lot of time. So what would I breed? I would do a reptile over an amphibian, probably some sort of lizard or snake. Snake, I would do like a ball pythons because I really like ball pythons, or lizards. Some sort of skink probably because I really like skinks, like I said. It's so quiet here. It's making me a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, I think this is the last question. Do you have any tips on getting tanks or terrariums for a good price? They're so expensive brand new, so I try to get used, but they're hard to find. I have the same problem with that because they are so expensive new. Some stores have like dollar per gallon sales, which are always good. Like I have a 40 gallon right now that has never been used, but I got it for $40 because it was $1 a gallon. And you can find sales like that. Also, there will be small tanks at yard sales a lot. Like I've seen 10 gallons, which are used as aquariums. I've also seen tanks at like, what are they called? Like, I can't think of the name of the shop, but those shops where like people can donate stuff or sell their stuff to the place. And they're not usually in that great condition, but they mostly just need some good scrubbing. But also depending on what it is, you might not need a tank. Like if it's a turtle, you could get a turtle tub, or if it's a snake, if they were really too expensive, you could do some sort of rack. But they're definitely hard. You just kind of have to look for deals and good prices and kind of just get those whenever. But I'm actually planning on doing a whole video just about kind of like the price of keeping reptiles and amphibians. So I can talk about that more later. So here's the answer to the other question about my gear. This is some of my stuff. I have the 3 bodies. This is the one that I made that video with that you just saw. This is my really old one. It doesn't really work anymore, and this is film. Then I have slider, lenses, some of the GoPro stuff, lights, the microphone I use, a couple tripods. This one's broken, but I have another one. And then some extra GoPro stuff and other things in here. So many bugs around here. Okay, well, that was the Q&A answer thing for all the questions that you sent. Thanks very much if you asked a question so I wouldn't like stand here awkwardly for 10 minutes. But yeah, I enjoyed doing it. Again, I'm really glad I hit 500 subscribers, so thank you for subscribing if you have. And I'm working on uploading more often, so hopefully you can see uploads maybe once a day sometime soon. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.